Hi guys, told you I'd see you in a couple minutes. Okay, this is Dreams and Visions by Marion Scott, part 2. My last one was Dreams and Visions by Marion Scott, part 1. The one before that was just Dreams and Visions by Marion Scott. There was no part, you won't find on there, there's one that don't have a part. That tells you about all the things that God has done to me. He has allowed me to see. Oh my God. And a lot of good stuff in there. And if you weren't a believer before, you need to go watch it because you'll be a believer after. Made me a believer. Okay. First of all, I want to talk about the 10 Commandments. You have to follow them, guys. You have to. You can't not do it. The heaven will not tolerate not even one sin. It just won't do it because heaven is perfect. Now, it doesn't mean that you got to be a little God walking around in order to go to heaven. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that you have to strive to be as perfect as possible. Keep striving to be as perfect as you can with God's help. And that's where a connection with just you and God comes in at. Okay. With the 10 Commandments, you will find this in those who know me, they know that I have a little bit of a stuttering problem. I stutter a little, I stammer a little, because I grew up in a very extremely abusive household, mentally and physically. And there was a time that, I didn't want nothing to do with God, because I blamed Him for my life, basically. But one day God got a hold of me. And He lifted some of those scars. He lifted most of them. He really did. I'm scarred with a little bit of a speech impediment. But other than that, I don't think about my life like I used to. I used to go to bed every night and cry. I really did. And a lot of you are going to be able to a lot of you are going to be able to understand where I'm coming from. Anyhow, with that being said, sorry, sometimes I get long-winded. Okay, Exodus chapter 20, verse 2 through 17. It will tell you all about the 10 Commandments, what you have to do. You have to keep them. Because if you do not, you will not go to heaven. You cannot, you cannot even tell a little white lie. Somebody, like if somebody asks you a question and they say, did you do this or that? And, and it's something real small and petty, and you say, no, I didn't do that, and then you just go on with your day. And it's not going to hurt somebody, or you ain't going to help somebody except for answer his question, God will still hold you accountable. Yes, He will, because you lied. So even the smallest little lie will not enter heaven. So you have got to really watch yourself. But you have to do it with the Spirit of God. You have to do it with the leading of the Lord. If you don't, I'm sorry, you're going to fall flat on your face. Because we're not little gods running around. And we can't do it on our own. You have to have Jesus Christ to help you. There's just no other way to do it. It won't work no other way. Okay. Now, in my first video, not of the, the first video one, this was just the Dreams and Visions by Marion Scott. And it wasn't a part 1 or 2 or nothing. This one is when I told y'all, about the dreams and visions that God gave me. Well, I talked a lot about hell. I talked a lot about heaven. And I want to give you some references that you can actually go and read, about. And, let me get it here. Okay, all right. Here is a good one. Okay, well, let's look this up. Okay. Let me see it first. Let's see, where's 11? There it is. Okay. Okay, that was one about hell. Okay, I do have some that are. I'm just gonna find them. I got them all bookmarked here, so it won't take me an hour, to find it. There we go. Okay, here's one on hell. And there's many more, but I just picked, one out to start you off with. Now what you can do is your computer, whether it be a laptop or whether it be your phone, just type in, on YouTube or you can go to the internet and type in verses about hell in the Bible, and it will bring up all kinds. You will be surprised how many different references there is about hell in the Bible. Too many to count. Okay, this one is Matthew chapter 23, verse 33. And it says, okay, let me find start with 23. Wait a minute, I didn't go on this page. Okay, there it is. Okay, I found it. All right. All right, chapter 23, verse. Okay, wait a minute. 33. I will. There we go. Okay, here we go. Okay, and it says, "You serpents, you generation of vipers, how can you escape the damnation of hell?" Whew, is that ever strong words? There's people who actually think when they get down to hell that they're going to party with their friends. They're going to be sitting around a big campfire, roasting marshmallows, telling ghost stories and just having a blast the rest of their life. No, that's not what's going to happen. I hate to be the bubble burster, but that's not what's going to happen. You're going to be tortured to death, and it's going to be for eternity every second. Why would God allow something like that to happen? Because you're either for him or you're against him. And see, the devil in Genesis, okay, excuse me, he thought he was better than God. And he kind of showed his stuff, And God went, wait a minute. You ain't better than me. I made you. How does that make you better than me? It doesn't. Well, the devil kind of, but before that, God favored Satan. He favored him. It was one of his favorite, one of his most favorite and one of his smartest angels. And Satan kind of got the big head. His head kind of swelled up. And when it swelled up, one day he thought he was bigger and badder than God. Well, God showed him. He said, if you want to be a god, go for it, but you ain't going to be a god of this world. Sorry. I'm the only God here. In this world. Now how about I throw you down on planet Earth and you can be the God there. But we're going to see how many people want to be with me too. So that's what he did. And that's the reason why you have to choose either heaven or hell. And people, they just make a big joke about hell. Like you're not going to be tortured like that. And some of them even think that your spirit's never going to leave your body until a certain time, in history, That's not true. Like on Judgment Day, and then finally, your spirit will leave your body, and you're going to be judged. you're already going to be out of your body, okay? And you are going to be judged, and you're going to be in heaven or hell. That's it. That's the bottom line. And you don't want to go to hell. Watch my first video titled Dreams and Visions by Mary Ann Scott. And, you know, Mary my first name, and Ann's my middle, and then Scott. And I'm going to tell you the things that happened to me. Wow. The things I saw in hell. Now, I didn't touch everything that I saw in hell. And I didn't want to describe the demons because I don't want to scare a little kid half to death. Because that's not fair to them. They would have nightmares. But I can honestly tell you folks, hell is a real place. It really, really is. And how do I know, you might ask? It was just a dream. Or was it? Because it was very real to me. And I had a vision. And I had a vision of Jesus Christ on the cross. It was a wide open vision. I was not sleeping. So if there is a hell, wouldn't there be a heaven? Or is there only a hell? You can't have one without the other. Like peanut butter and jelly. You know? You got, you know, or mustard and bologna. You know? Milk and cereal. I mean, you know, you can't have one without the other. So there is a heaven, there is a hell. There is a hell, there is a heaven, there's a heaven, there's a hell. It's not just that there's a heaven and there's no hell. Everybody's going to go to heaven. If that was the case, then God's word would have been and would be contradictive. It means you can commit sin and you can still get into heaven. And heaven is a perfect place. That's not true. That's, you know, it's wrong. You have to, asking God for forgiveness should be a daily thing. Regardless if you thought you did something wrong or not, you should still say it. You should still close your eyes when you wake up in the morning. Ask God to guide you through the whole day and do not allow you to become tempted, you know, the bad things of this world. Hell is in the middle, close to the bottom of planet Earth. And I know this because I was there. And it scared me to death. And when I came out of hell, I'm going to tell you something, folks. I had to get a hold of myself for a while. I couldn't just get up, brush myself, get up, brush myself off, and act like nothing ever happened. I'm not that talented, you know. I can't hide my feelings that way. Not very well. It really affected me. And that would affect anybody, unless you're not human, you know. It would affect anybody. And the things I saw was so scary. Oh my God. Think of the worst horror flick you could ever think of that you've ever seen, and times it by 50 million or more. That's how bad it was. And this is for eternity. Think of the worst torture you could ever think of. And think of that torture being 1 million, 10 million, 50 million times worse. And there's different levels in hell. Yes, there is. There's different levels. It's not just y'all go to a fire and burn forever. That's it. No. Or you just sit in darkness. You just hang out in darkness. No. What kind of torture would that be? I'm sorry, but you have to pay for what you've done wrong. And Jesus cries. He doesn't like it. But there's nothing he can do because you don't want to be on his side. So, but those of you who do, God bless you. Then we talked on some other stuff. Okay, let's look up some of these. some of them I don't have labeled, and I do apologize. I kind of jotted them down. This is Acts 18:9, and I'm going to see what it says here. There it is. Okay. Okay. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Okay. Well, I thought it was a good thing at the time, but this doesn't mention too much about heaven. All it talks about is Jesus and the resurrection. But you're going to be judged in order to go to heaven or hell. You'll even be judged to go to hell. And the good thing about it is, well, I don't know if it's a good thing, you can believe that even if you were bad, your spirit will go on living, but it's going to live in hell. And you don't want that to happen. And God says in the Bible, I'll have to find the scripture and tell you, but it says in the Bible, it says, better is he who believes and has not seen. It took me to believe. Don't be like I was. I learned a very big lesson. But now that I have seen, oh, you better believe I believe. I believe wholeheartedly. A band of bulls could not drag me away from the truth because I know God is real. I know heaven is real. I've seen him. My daughter has had visions of heaven. She's had visions of hell. I'm going to do a video on that, or a few videos. The more you know, the more you're going to believe. And, I'm going to pray that God will send something supernatural your way. But that's after you give your heart to him. And that's going to be in the third continuation of this set. That'll be in part 3 of this, video. Okay, then, let's see, what else did I mark down here? Okay, here's heaven. Okay, heaven, Revelations, chapter 22, verses 3 through 7. And you can read about that. If you don't have a Bible, there's online Bibles, and you can download an online Bible, or you can just look up that, go on the internet, and it'll come right to you. And you can read, about all these different things I'm giving you. Here's another one about heaven. Revelations, chapter 21, verses 4 through 8. And, tells you all about heaven. Excuse me. You can even look up, what does heaven look like according to the Bible. And it gives you a description. That's a real description. That's not make-believe. It's not symbolic. That's real. And another reason why I know the Bible is so real, not only because I had visions and, dreams, one might say, but visions, come on. I know he's real. One time when I was married, I'm no longer married for a very good cause, but when my daughter was born in 1990, okay, in the Bible, okay, well, first I want to tell you this part. When that war broke out in 1990, that was when my daughter was born. And the Bible calls where the war broke out over there, it called it Old Babylon. And then later on in years, centuries, they changed the name. Well, it used to be called Old Babylon. And in Revelations, I will have to find it, again. And I will share it with you once I find it. But in Revelations, somewhere, it says that in old Babylon, because it doesn't talk about the new name, it talks about old Babylon, it talks about a war that's going to break out and what's going to happen. And right before my eyes, that war came to pass. And I told my husband that, and I said, oh my God. And I said, listen, honey, and I read it to him, and I said, what just happened? He still wouldn't believe. He saw an angel of light and still wouldn't believe. So I really feel sorry for him. I do. And even though he wasn't too nice to me in our marriage, I still have to forgive him. I have to. And I have to love him in God's way. And I have to pray that he seeks salvation. I don't want to wish hell on him. I don't want to wish hell on nobody. Oh my God. What I saw, you don't want to wish that on your worst enemy. It is pretty bad. I've actually heard people say, well, that's okay, because when you die, the devil will take care of my dirty work. I used to say that. I really did. I don't say that no more. Nope. Because I don't wish that on nobody. And I just want everybody to go to heaven, but I know that that's not possible. But I wish. But and I know that that's not possible. There's going to be some that have their own, ideas of heaven or hell, and some don't even believe in heaven or hell. Oh, God, please help them. And some do not believe that they're going to be tortured in hell. Yes, you are. And it's going to be a torturing that you never thought was possible. You never thought torturing another human being could ever be so foul, But it is. It's that foul. And you just don't want that. So go ahead and look those up. And what I want you to do is I want you to, on the internet, type in, what does heaven look like according to Revelations? And it will bring it up. And you'll be able to read all about it. And guys, when you read it, I really want you to pay very much attention to what it's saying, because exactly the way it says it is exactly the way heaven is going to be. And it's going to be beautiful. Who wouldn't want to go there? You'd have to be some kind of stupid not to go there, So, especially after what I saw, you'd really have to be off your rocker, So, there's going to be another video right after this one. I made them into somewhat short videos, not real short, because I can be long-winded. But, so it won't be so overwhelming for you. And, this next video is Dreams and Visions by Marianne Scott, Part 3. So I'll see you in a couple minutes. Bye, guys.